Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Shut Up and Read. Today I'm back with yet another video where I'll be discussing some of my most anticipated spring releases, so let's just get right into it. So for today, I want to share some of my most anticipated releases for spring. Originally though, I wanted to share some of the books I have read recently where I thought would be perfect for spring. But I realized that me personally, I'm never in a mood, like specific mood for certain genres when it comes to spring or fall. Winter, yes. Summer, yes as well. But spring and fall, for whatever reason, I'm just kind of in the mood for whatever. And so I thought I would just make this video more devoted towards the upcoming releases that I'm really anticipating. So there will be 5 books that I want to talk about in this video, plus one honorable mention because I actually just finished that book. But since it hasn't been released yet, I figured that would still apply for this video, so I will still be including that as an honorable mention. The first book that I want to share is Descendant of the Crane by Joanne He. This one comes out on April 2nd. I have mentioned this book quite a number of times now by this point where I have basically described it as a Chinese-inspired Game of Thrones. But I have actually just started reading this book and I'm about 74 pages in, so I can give you guys a better, clearer summary now in terms of what this book is about now that I've actually read almost 100 pages. So now that I have read about 100 pages or so, okay, like 75 pages, I want to say that this book is not that similar to Game of Thrones, at least that's not the impression that I'm getting so far. So this book follows a princess called Princess Hasina whose father had just passed away, but now she also has some evidence to prove that her father didn't just pass away, but was in fact murdered and killed. And determined to find her father's killer, she engages the aid of a soothsayer, but the thing is, magic has been outlawed for centuries. And also because her father had just passed away, she's thrust into power and she becomes queen to this relatively unstable kingdom. And the book, from what I understand, just kind of follows along the line of her being thrust into power. She becomes queen of an unstable kingdom. They're trying to settle some of these skirmishes with other like neighbor kingdoms, as well as trying to find out who her father's killer is. And there's also some sort of secrets line between her family and like she doesn't know who to trust, etc. And so far I'm 75 pages in, and that's the impression I'm getting. I don't feel like it's that Game of Thrones. Maybe a little bit, but not as much as I had anticipated. But that's kind of the gist for this book right now. So anyways, I'm just really excited for this book regardless if it's similar to Game of Thrones because it is a Chinese inspired fantasy. There's magic involved. I'm curious also because she has to enlisted this convict. His name is Akira, as like an investigator of some sort, and I'm kind of curious to see where that leads to, as well as like her home family dynamic and stuff. So I'm curious about this book. Definitely can't wait. Also, this cover is gorgeous, so I'm actually reading this right now for the Witchathon, which I'm very excited for. So anyways, very excited for this book. Then the next book that I'm really excited for is We Are Blood and Thunder by Kessia Lupo. This one comes out on April 4th. This book follows 2 young women. One is Lena, who is being forced to run for her life after being convicted of being a mage, and now she is forced to trust people that she has hated all her life, people with magic. And then on the other hand, there's Constance, who escaped way back when before her own powers were discovered, but now she doesn't want to hide who she is anymore. And somehow there's this terrifying stormcloud that basically unites the 2 of them. However, as you can imagine, the storm is not your average thunderstorm. It is in fact a spell, and the truth behind it is far more sinister than you can ever imagine. So I am just really excited for this book. The cover looks gorgeous and it's a fantasy book, and as you can tell, obviously, if you follow my channel long enough now, that I really like fantasy, so obviously I'm very hyped up for this book. The next book that I'm really excited for is Dark Shores by Danielle L. Jensen, and it comes out on May 7th. This one basically follows a female pirate who meets a soldier with a secret, and due to some circumstances, they're forced to form an alliance to protect their own families. So I'm just excited for this book because female pirate, I haven't read a good pirate book in a very long time. I have a few that I need to read as soon as possible, but when I saw piracy in here, female piracy, I was very excited for this one. The next book that I'm excited for, and I feel like everyone in the book community is also excited for, is We Hunt the Flame by Hafzal Faizal. I'm really hoping I pronounced that name correctly, and this one comes out on May 14th. This is a book that is set in the world that is inspired by ancient Arabia. This book follows a young woman called Zafira, who's known as the Huntress. She disguises herself as a man who braves this forest to feed her own people. Then there is Nasir, who is known as the Prince of Death, and he is essentially forced to kill everyone who's foolish enough to defy the king. Both of them are legends, but neither of them want to be. And then one day they both go on this relatively similar mission where their paths cross. And there's also some ancient evil brewing in the background. So I'm so hyped for this book because I feel like I haven't read any books recently that is set in anything that's remotely similar to ancient Arabia. So I'm very intrigued by this concept. Plus the cover is absolutely stunning, so Need I say more? Then the last book that I'm really excited for is Stronger Than a Bronze Dragon by Mary Fan. This one comes out on June 11th. So this book follows a girl called Anlei who is forced to marry the viceroy to solidify their alliance after her village essentially offers up their sacred enchanted pearl in exchange for his protection against the mechanical dragons. Unfortunately though, things don't go as planned and a young thief steals the pearl for himself. So Anlei is now forced to take matters into her own hands and goes after this boy herself. Upon catching up to him though, she realizes that this boy also needs the pearl just as much as she does. The two of them end up going on this epic quest that somehow includes the courts of hell. So anyways, I'm just very excited for this book. As you guys all know, I like things with mythical creatures and mechanical dragons do qualify. I also know that there's supposed to be some Chinese female warriors and I'm assuming Anlei is one, so I'm very intrigued by that as well. So definitely can't wait to read this soon. Then the honorable mention I mentioned earlier is Wicked Saints by Emily A. Duncan. This one comes out on April 2nd. So I actually just finished this book recently and I would best describe this as a darker, grittier version of Strange the Dreamer, and I loved it so much. It basically follows a girl who can speak to gods and there's like magic in there. Then there's also a guy, a prince, who doesn't know who to trust. The third person is a boy who has like monstrous secrets, and I'm just really intrigued by this book. The ending though left me like, oh my god guys, like I just want to know what happens next. Like I am so I'm dying guys. This book was so good. Like this is everything that I had imagined. Like the beginning started off slow, but the ending, like the follow-up, everything else about this book, oh my god. So anyways, I just really wanted to include that book in here because this is technically an anticipated read for a lot of you guys out there. I fortunately was able to get the chance to read this book as an ebook because I'm doing the blog tour, so really excited about it. Oh my god guys, this book, I have no words guys. This book is so good. So anyways, those are all the books I want to mention in this video. Let me know down below if you have read any of the books that I have mentioned in here. If you had also read Wicked Saints, let me know down below as well because I have so many questions guys, like so many questions about the ending and anyways. Also let me know down below if any of these books are on your TBR. Let me know down below as well. But as always, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe down below, don't forget to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!